Good morning. How is everyone? Good? Yes? It's a great weekend because there's no work tomorrow, right? Yeah. Woo! Labor Day. It's a good day. I had to explain Labor Day to my kids the other day. They're like, Dad, what's Labor Day? I'm like, what does it mean to labor? They're like, I don't know. It's like, exactly, you don't work. Labor means to work. It's a day off of work just because. They're like, oh, that's cool. How come we can't have more of those? It's like, you do. It's called Saturday. But Labor Day is a great weekend, and we're glad you guys are here with us. Hopefully you join us after the sermon today, after church today, so we can go to the pool together, BSR. It's the last pool day that we have as a church. You're all invited to come. BSR is by Bowie High School in the Bowie Library, and we're going to be there around 1 o'clock-ish. Come to the pool, cook out. You can get in the water, but it rained a lot yesterday, so that water's probably chilly, but hey, it's the last time you get in, so just suck it up and get in. But there's going to be food there as well, and hanging out, playing cornhole and horseshoes and whatever else. But there also at the pool is a bake-off. And so I know we got a lot of bakers in here, and a lot of people have participated. And so Michael Platt has done a bake-off challenge or a bake-off to raise money for No Kid Hungry. And so we as a church partner with him to raise money for that because that's near and dear to our heart. We want to end hunger where we can, especially in our city and the schools that we work with. And so we partner with Michael with that. And so if you brought your baked goods here, bring them to the pool. Don't bring them here because they'll get eaten and then you won't be able to get judged. But please come out and support what's going on there. Even if you don't want to get in the pool, come and buy a cupcake, come and buy some cookies because it's all going to feed hungry children throughout the United States. As Jason said, we're in a new series titled Baggage, and I'm looking forward to this series a lot. Anytime I preach a sermon, get ready for a sermon series, and it's dealing with a lot of stuff within me, I know that I'm on the right track. I'm not just preaching from my head, I'm also preaching from my heart, and so I'm looking forward to this series. I had some baggage that I was carrying around because of football starting, but I released some of that baggage because the Terps won. And I was like, yes, because they always lose somehow. So the Terps won, and then the Nats. I was getting like some baggage series because they were about to get swept by the Bruins, but then they won, and then Liberty University won. Yeah, that was huge. I'm like, this is a great sport weekend. I ain't carrying any baggage with that. So if you're like me, sports sometimes it causes you to weigh down, get down. But and speaking about baggage, I have some participation questions for you guys to answer. So please participate. How many of you like to travel? Raise your hand. Awesome. All right. For those who like to travel, you're usually in one or two camps. Either you are the destination, like I just want to get there kind of camp, or you are I'm enjoying the journey kind of camp. You're the one that's like, I just want to get there. I really don't care how we get there. I just want to get there as fast as possible, smooth as possible. I don't really care about the journey. I just want to get there. While others says, no, it's enjoying the journey. Like the actual part of getting there is part of the journey. So we're going to see how many people are destination people. Raise your hand. You just want to get there. Destination people? Okay, awesome. All right, hands down. How many people are the journey? It's all about the journey. It's all about getting there. Awesome. That's me. I like the journey part there. How many of you aren't gonna raise your hand no matter what I say? Y'all got baggage. See, baggage. All y'all got some kind of baggage going on. We all have some kind of baggage, and when we think about baggage, we think about a lot of different ways, a lot of different things that bags going to school, bags for travel, bags for just groceries, for life. It doesn't really matter where your baggage is and how you see it. We all have it. Like I said, I'm more of the journey person. I like traveling and I like going, but I like the whole process. I like everything except this one part of the process, and that is the baggage part, the bags that we have to take, all this stuff. When I became a parent, I didn't realize how much stuff we actually needed for a newborn child until I had one, because I saw these parents carrying all this stuff for this little itty bitty person. It was a bag for this, and it was a bag for that, and a stroller for that, and a packing plate for that, and I'm like, the dude's this big, like why he need all this stuff? Until I had my own, and then my wife was like, we need all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, I couldn't stand. I loved taking Jonathan and Marshall with us to see people, but then I thought, we have to pack all this stuff. I'm the guy that doesn't like packing. I don't like, it's the stuff that comes along with it that I'm not a fan of. I don't like it. I'm okay with it, but I don't like it. I don't like it to the point where if I have to pack up something and it's of a large quantity, I just call on Jason Craig. Because Jason Craig is the best at looking at what stuff you have in the space, and then I'll put this stuff in this space better than anybody else. He is awesome. Like, if you have a lot of stuff, this is kind of what it might look like. If you have all this stuff and you need somebody to pack your bags, pack something, that's Jason right there. Jason will hook you up. He was like, you got all this stuff? I will make it fit. That's kind of, I got it. I got you. There's a story when Jason and I were at our previous church, and we had this huge concert that we hosted. Well, their truck, their trailer, their moving van, it broke down. Something happened where they could no longer take their stuff to the next destination. So they had to call for this other truck to come so they could pack their stuff up and go to the next place. Well, for those who don't know, when you're in like the concert business, they pack things the same way every time. It goes in a certain way, comes out a certain way. They take up every square inch of that trailer is used up. Well, it takes time and practice to get that down. And so they had this new trailer come, and it was different dimensions. It was a different height, different width. It wasn't as long. And so the road crew are looking at all this gear. They're just literally standing. We're in the middle of the church parking lot, and we're like, well, y'all pack this stuff up and go. They're like, well, we got to put this. Jason says, sit down. Just sit right there. He takes all that stuff and packs it in there, closes up. Now, get out my parking lot. Like, go. Like, he's just awesome at it. Jason helped us move. He helped us move when we were on Mill Stream over by the high school. Now we're over here by Island Pond. And I literally was like, people ask, where do you want to put this? Ask Jason. How do you want this in a truck? Stop asking me. Ask Jason, because he's great at it. To the point where we were moving out of our house, and he's like, all right, Dione, I packed you all up. Let's double check everything. We're checking everything, and we open the closet door underneath the steps, and literally it is full, like from the doorway all the way deep into the closet. And he just looks at me, he's like, bro. I was like, I've totally forgot. No one asked me about this because I would have told him to ask you, so I totally forgot. And he packed up a whole closet into that box when it was already full. I'm like, Jason, I gotta give you a raise, bro. Like, you're awesome. He is the master of packing stuff and carrying stuff and getting it in the space that you have and putting it where you need to go so you can take it along your journey. So if you are moving, Jason packing excites him. It's not something like he's like dreading. He's like, you're packing? I can help you. So if you're packing, just send him a message, and he'll come and pack your stuff up, maybe for a fee. But he will pack it. But he's great at the packing part. Now, when it comes to the packing, when it comes to baggage, what's the one place that we think of when it comes to baggage? What's the one place where we see the most bags? What do you say? Airport. When we think of baggage, we think of baggage claim, we think of the airport. So many types of bags when it comes to the airport. You see big ones, you see small ones, you see some that roll, you see some that push, you see some that kids are riding on, you see all different kinds of baggage. To the point where we have all these baggage up here. I had someone from the church come up and say, Dione, I'm not on social media. Did I miss, we're going on a trip somewhere? I can go back home and pack. If we're going on a trip, I didn't know the bus is coming because you have all this different variety of suitcases. I didn't know there's no trip. It's just for the props. All different kind of bags going on. My house is full of bags. My wife did 31. And if you don't know what that is, it's a bag company where they just sell bags. And so we have so many bags at our house. I've been trying to sell them. I want to sell them on Craigslist, Facebook, and my wife says no. We have too many bags. Sorry, I got baggage about how many bags we have at our house. There's so many kinds of bags. We have bags when we go to airports. To put airport in your mind. When we go to the airport, we have all different kinds of bags, right? Now, there's one thing about the bags in the airport, one place that we all try to avoid, and that one place is the baggage claim. We don't like going to baggage claim. If you actually think about it, we're like, I need a bag, I'm gonna take my bag, but the place that I'm supposed to put my bag and retrieve it, I don't want to go to it. Why don't we want to go to the baggage claim? Well, it takes up our time. You gotta go there, you stand around a bunch of people you don't like, you already been riding in an aluminum tube with them, and now you gotta stand around, and then you're looking for your bag, you get anxiety hoping your bag made it, and then people start looking at your bags. You're like, that's my, you see it come down the carousel, and you're like, don't you touch my bag. That's my bag. Like, you're like, people start trying to take your bag, look at your bag. You're like, don't touch my bag. And you look at your bag. It's like, that's not how I left my bag. It's torn up. It's dirty now. And then you actually get your bag, and then somebody's coming up to you trying to take your bag from you and saying, oh, you want help with your bag? And you're like, no, I can carry my own bag. I don't need you to carry my bag. You're trying to upcharge me. No, I got this. And then you're like, oh, I forgot a bag. And if you're like my family, you have all these bags. And then my kids don't want to roll the bags right. So now I'm pushing the bag. And my dad's like, won't you just go and get the sky cap so he can get your bags? I'm like, I hate baggage claim. I just hate baggage claim. And most of us try to avoid it. Most of us, we're going on a plane. We don't want to go to baggage claim. We just we do the carry on, right? Take my bag and roll it up, and I'm going to carry it onto the plane. Well, even that's a process. Like, you might be the one that's going to cram a lot of my stuff into a little space. I'm going to cram it all in there, and then I'm going to put it on the plane, and then you just hope that there's not somebody that has this gigantic bag who's trying to roll it down the aisle, and you got the aisle seat, and they hit you with the bag, and then they're like, excuse me, could you help me put my bag up? And then you're like, get your belly out my face, because now they're putting their bag above your head, and then their bag is too heavy for them to even pick up, so they're asking you to help them, and they didn't even tip you. Like, bags, you're like, I just want to go and not have bags. That's just not to carry bags, because it just weighs us down. They're heavy, they're cumbersome, but we all have it, especially when you go to the airport. If you're like me, you see somebody going through the airport and they don't have any bags, and they're talking about their trip, and like, where are their bags? And you might overhear them like, my dream, this is a far-fetched dream, but my dream is that I can just show up somewhere. This is one day, maybe I'll do this. That me and my wife fly somewhere, we take nothing with us. We buy the stuff that we want there, and then we donate it, and we fly home. Like, we don't carry anything. Like, we just go there, buy all the stuff, wear it, then donate it, and just fly home with no bags. The only thing I'm carrying is my cell phone and my wallet, and that's it. Because now I can put my ticket on my cell phone. Like, I like to go light. I met Jason yesterday, and we're leaving. He's like, where's your bag? I'm like, bagless today, bro. I'm like, feeling light. I'm like, no bag today. Because bags kind of wear you down. You have to worry about it. You have to, what you're going to do with it and how you're going to place it. And we all have it. Doesn't matter how old you are, we all have this baggage. And baggage can be draining. So I decided that to put some names to some of the baggage that we carry around. The baggage is the bags that you can't see that we carry around. Baggage are the bags that we carry around that most people can't see. So we're going to talk about baggage claim. And the first thing we're going to talk about, and there's a lot of different labels you could put on the baggage. I might hit on your label of a bag you carry around that no one can see, of this burden, this weight, this thing that's bothering you that you put on your shoulders. I was going to put bags on my shoulders, but my shoulders are still not happy with bags on my shoulder, but we all carry kind of baggage. So the first one is unfulfilled expectations. That's the first one. If I could go up and write that on a bag, I would write it on the bag and say unfulfilled expectations. That is one of the bags that a lot of us carry around. This is where anger comes from for a lot of us. When you expect things to go a certain way, and then when it's not met, you get angry. And we've seen it. If you have a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old, you've seen it. Like, they want this, and you say no, and they wig out. They get mad at you. They want to hit you. They want to cry. They want to scream. They fall on the floor. If you have children, you've seen it. If you haven't had children, just go back and volunteer. We need some lovely volunteers back there with the little city kids. They would love to show you how things go when their expectations aren't met. Anger is one of the things that happens when our expectations aren't met. When things don't go the way we want. When people don't respond the way you thought they should respond. We get angry, or we feel let down, or we feel hurt, or we feel disappointed. Proverbs says this in Proverbs 13:12. It says, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing filled is a tree of life. Not getting what you want or hope for makes your heart sick. Not getting the things that you expected makes you feel sick, makes you feel irritated, makes your heart just like, oh, I didn't get that. And all these other flood of emotions happens when the hope that you have doesn't happen, when it's deferred. So many of us want things to always go our way. We want everything to be perfect. Not that we want it to be that way, we expect it to be that way. We expect to have perfect children. We expect our children to act right and to be perfect and don't get out of line. Like that's our expectation. It's not realistic, but a lot of times, especially go out in public, like I expect my children to not cause a scene. Like you. This is going back to my grandmother and my mom. You embarrass me, oh, I will embarrass you. Don't. I want you to act a certain way. Now, not to be perfect, not to be like dressed really nice, but be perfect. Like our expectations are our kids to be perfect at times. Sometimes our expectations is to have that perfect husband. That your husband is to respond and to think and do everything perfectly. If you don't, you better watch out. Or if you're as husbands, you expect our wives to be perfect, to fulfill all our needs, and to make sure dinner should be done, and house should be clean, and the kids should be cleaned up, and you take care of my needs, and you don't question me, and we just want this, and you look the way I want you to look, this perfect wife. Children want their parents to be perfect. They want their parents to parent them the way they want them to parent them. And because my friends say these parents over here do this, how come you don't? They want this expectation of our parents to meet every need and to be perfect at it. We want perfect friends. We want our job. We want the perfect job. We want the perfect relationships. We want the perfect bodies. We want everything to be kumbaya and perfect. We expect heaven on earth. That's what we really want. We want God to make things perfect for us all the time. And this baggage of unfulfilled expectation, that's unrealistic. And we carry this bag because so-and-so didn't do this. My mom didn't do this. My dad didn't do this. The government didn't do this. I had expectations of my teacher and my coaches. I had this expectations of my friends. And so since that didn't happen, I'm picking up this bag of unfulfilled expectation. You know what you can expect? This is what Jesus says. You can expect trouble. Jesus didn't say you can expect everything to be perfect. Jesus didn't say you can expect everything to go your way. Jesus didn't say you can expect for things never to go bad. He says what you can expect is trouble. You can expect trouble. John 16:33, Jesus says you can expect it. Trouble is going to come your way. There's a parable where Jesus talks about the soil and the crops growing up, and these crops are growing, and at the same time there's weeds that's growing up. Do you know what's going on with weeds? When weeds, if you're any gardeners in here, anybody that's ever planted anything, you plant the seeds and the plants that you want. You don't have to plant the weeds; they just come. They just blow in the wind, and they just land in your perfect treated soil, and they just come, and nobody has to, and you don't expect it. You're trying to like, what are you doing here, weeds? And God's like, no, that's what's going to happen. Jesus lived the perfect life, and he was hung on a cross. Expect trouble. But we have this baggage of unfulfilled expectations. The second one is untreated pain. Untreated pain, I call this the being tough baggage. I call this, I got this baggage. In this area, This is not one baggage I kind of carry around. This is not one I really have to deal with. If I have pain, I will claim it, and I will tell you that I got some pain, and I'm going to go get it treated. I don't do pain, y'all. I don't. I don't avoid it. Like if I know something's going to cause me pain, it's okay, I'll go through it. But once I know it's there, I'm getting treatment. I'm looking for a doctor. I'm looking ice, rest, sleep, and I'm going to let you know I got some pain. My best friend, Jason Craig, he will tell you this without hesitation. When it comes to pain, he'll say, Dione's a wimp. Like he will say it, I'm like, thanks, Jason. Like, love you too, bro. Like he will say, like he's like, he's just a wimp, and he's like, for me, if I got some pain, I'm getting treatment. I'm taking some day off and see the doctor, and he's like, it's okay, Dione, you're right. I'm like, no, I don't feel good. I got something going. I gotta get it treated. I'm not one to carry around pain and like, oh yeah, this has been hurting on for like 6-10 years. You ever get looked at? Nah, it's all right. If it falls off, I'll get another one. Like, I'm not that kind of guy. I'm the guy that's like, no, I don't carry pain baggage. I let it go. I let it go. My wife, she's been dealing with sickness, and I've been telling her she's a trooper. She is just so strong with dealing with pain because she's a school teacher. First week of school, kids coming back, and she got sick. If that would have been me, I'd be like, I'll see y'all kids on Tuesday. I'm done. I'm out. I'm going to be on the couch. No, I'm not coming back to work. No, I'm almost dead. Like, I don't do well with pain. I get it treated until it's all gone. But some of us, we are the other way. We have pain, either pain we've caused to ourselves or pain that happened to us without any rhyme or reason, or pain that's done deliberately to us, and we go life without getting it treated. It could be physical pain, emotional pain, spiritual pain, mental pain, pain of being alone, whatever it may be. We go around, we carry this bag of untreated pain everywhere we go. And even though I'm one that doesn't do that, I treat pain. As soon as I know there's some pain, I try to treat it. I can be empathetic as well to those who have pain, those who carry around, groups of people who carry around this bag of pain. So many of us in so many areas, especially even in our country, have this baggage of untreated pain. So much untreated racial pain, so much untreated authoritative pain, so much untreated economic pain, so much untreated religious pain, and go on and on and on. And it goes through our country, and we see it flash up on the news over and over again. Jeremiah says this, Jeremiah 6:14, says, "They dress the wounds of my people as though it were not serious. Peace, peace, they say, when there's no peace." That's where our country is a lot of times with different things. They say, just get over it. It's okay, like enough time has passed. Or, you know what, you just need to work harder. You just have some peace. Just get some peace, just some peace. And you're standing there like, no, there is no peace. I have this pain. I have this untreated pain. And like, no, you're just shake it off. Just rub some dirt on it. Just take some 2 Tylenol. Just some time. That's not always how it's going to treat pain. Sometimes it's to deal directly towards the pain and talk about it and have some people come around it and put it in prayer and say, no. It's not just time heals all wounds. If the wound is infected, that wound will kill you. Untreated pain is a bag that we carry a lot around with us. The next one's unresolved yesterdays. Unresolved yesterday. What is that? Ephesians 4:26-27 says, in your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you're still angry. And do not give the devil a foothold. Married people, some of y'all are carrying this bag around right now. It's like sitting right there, like it's right in the next chair next to you. Some of you got in an argument last night, and the argument or the disagreement made you angry, and you went to bed, and you woke up, and you're still what? Angry. You're still mad. Usually you make coffee for each other, and this morning you're like, I'm making my own coffee. Get it themselves, because you're still mad. And the verse says, don't let the devil have a foothold on anger, unresolved yesterday. And a lot of us carry this, not just in married couples, a lot of us carry this unresolved thing that's going on in your life. You have not dealt with it. It can be with another person. You have not forgiven them, or you feel like they haven't forgiven you. And so you have this anger, and now the devil has a foothold to tear. And you just carry around that bag. Some of us, every day before you leave the house, you pick up the bag of unmet expectations. You pick up the bag of untreated pain. You pick up the bag of unresolved yesterdays, and you're just carrying all this luggage everywhere you go. Don't let the devil have a foothold. Another one is unhealthy self-view. An unhealthy view of self. This is the comparing baggage. This is I don't measure up baggage. This is I'm a loser baggage. This is nobody likes me baggage. I'm not pretty enough baggage. I'm not smart enough baggage. This is I have self-doubt kind of baggage. And church, I want to be honest. This is the one out of all the ones I've labeled, the one that I struggle with the most. And you're like, really? You struggle with that? Yes. There's times I get up here, and as I'm preaching, in the middle of me preaching, the thought will come in my head and says, you're a horrible pastor. You're a horrible preacher. No one's listening to you. I would take a test, and I had to work. I'm the kind of guy that had to work really hard to get a B. Like, I had to work extremely hard at school to get a B, and I would study, and I would get A's sometimes, and we'd be ecstatic because my parents would just be like, yay, Dione, you did a great job. And then I look at my brothers who's like not even trying to study, and he's getting like almost 4.0s, and I just want to kick him. I'm like, but in the middle of a test, study, especially in spelling. Anybody bad at spelling? Anybody? That was me. My parents up all night long trying to get me to get these words right. And I would pass the home test, and I would get to the test. This is like, I'm talking like second and third grade. As I'm taking the test, I would get, you're going to fail. You're not smart. Like in the middle of the test, I would doubt myself. I would have this self-doubt. When I was in the fire academy, and the rule there was 80%. You cannot get it under 80%. You get under 80% once, you are put on academic probation. You get under 80% twice, you're out. You can never get it lower than a C. And I got a 79 once, and I was on academic probation for the rest of the academy. I was like 2 months in, I had 4 months to go. And the stress of that and the self-doubt of you're not smart, you think you're smart, you're gonna fail, your family's counting on you. And this is the middle of being away from my family, and I just had this struggle with this self-doubt. I don't know how with you, but this is a bag that I seem to pick up at times. That I'll lay it down, I don't have it, and then I'll just pick it up. You're not a good husband. You're such a hypocrite. You don't look good at all. Your wife doesn't think you're attractive. All this self-doubt goes on in my head. And this is one that I personally struggle with. And if I know I do, some of you in this room have times where you just struggle saying, I just don't think highly of myself. And we pick up this bag and we put it on. You have an unhealthy view of yourself. Romans 12:3 says this, do not think of yourself more highly than you ought, but rather think of yourself with sober judgment in accordance with the faith of God has distributed to each of you. And you're like, what does that mean? What does that mean? The Message version, I'm not even gonna call it translation, but it's a paraphrase kind of version, try to put it in the most understandable language, says this: the only accurate way to understand ourselves, the only way to understand yourself is by what God is and by what he does for us, not by what we are or what we do for him. The accurate way to take that baggage is for how God views me, how God views you. Not how you view you, not how the world views you, and not what you do for yourself and not what you do for God, but only how God views you. That is what Romans 12:3 is saying. Every time I pick up that bag, God's saying, no, you're picking up a bag that I'm not giving to you. You're putting that self-doubt on yourself. The next one is unrepentant sin. It's the last one. And there's many other, but unrepentant sin. This might be the heaviest bag of them all. I picked up one of these bags that Jason brought up, and I went to pick it up, and I was like, oh, this thing is heavy. In my head, I'm like, this is the sin bag right here. This is the one. This might be the heaviest bag, unrepentant sin. And notice I didn't say unconfessed sin. There's a difference. You may confess your sins all you want. You may say, I struggle with this. I sin here, I mess up here over and over and over again, and I confess it, and I'm sorry. But if you don't change your ways, that's considered unrepentant sin. That is saying you have not turned away from that sin. And that is the one thing. And you may have that thing that I've been struggling with for years. I could be 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years old, and you've been struggling with the same thing for years. It says not unconfessed sin, but unrepentant sin, to fully walk away from. And that's a bag that holds us and weighs us down, a lot of us down, a lot of us in this room down. Psalm 32, 3 and 4 says this, when I kept quiet, this is David wrote this. It says, when I kept silent, my bones wasted away through my groaning all day long. For the day and night, your hand was heavy upon me. Day and night, this bag was heavy upon me. Pick a bag, name your bag, give it a label. We all have them. Day and night, this bag was heavy upon me. My strength was sapped as the heat of the summer. Selah. Selah. Figure that out. Selah. We all have it. We all carry it. Now, what to do with it? What to do this? We're going to check these bags. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do checked baggage. One of the main reasons why, going back to the airport, one of the main reasons why we love going to Walt Disney World as a family is because because of their bag check program. It is phenomenal. If you haven't experienced it, just go to Disney World for that so you understand what I'm talking about. It's glorious. So you can take your bag, or if you've been on a cruise, they do this too. Take your bag, they send you labels, you put your label on it, you take your bags, don't forget any bags, make sure you bring all your bags to the airport, you give it to the baggage guy, and then you don't see your bag again until you get back to your hotel. It's a beautiful thing. Then I'm walking around free. I'm like, I ain't got no bags. Look at me. I'm like, woo, I can run around. I can do whatever I want. I don't have to have anxiety, a bag of shame. All I got to do is take off my shoes and go through the check thing. I don't have to take my laptop out and do all this. You can check every bag. I love it. And then when you go home, it's even better. You just go to the front desk and give it to them, and you don't see it again until you get back to your home airport. It is awesome. For me, it relieves anxiety. It relieves the stress of the bag. It relieves that I don't have to carry it around and wheel it around and bumping into people and people bumping into my bag and trying to figure out and waiting for it. I love this about Walt Disney World, and a lot of people have copied them if you've gone on a cruise and things of that sort. Check your baggage. God wants you to check your baggage. He wants you to understand that he's not designed you to carry this kind of burden. It says this in 2 Corinthians 10, 3 and 4. I want everyone to turn there. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3 and 4. If you're in the house Bibles, page 806, 2 Corinthians 3 and 4. This is Paul writing to the church in Corinth. And he says this, 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3 and 4 says, "For though we live in the world, we do not wage war as the world does." Understand, let me stop right there. As for us that live in this world, we do not wage war in this world as the world does. For those who are followers of Jesus Christ, the war that's going on is not just a physical war. Like armies fighting armies, I think that's not how we wage war. There's a spiritual war going on constantly around us all the time. I know we're kind of wondering if we're going to go to war with North Korea and if this country is going to join the United States and Japan and all that, and we're thinking about this physical war. That war is pending or could happen. We pray that it doesn't. But there is a war that's constantly going on around us. It's called spiritual warfare. It's constantly going on. It says this, Paul goes on and says, the weapons we fight with are not weapons of the world. The weapons that we fight with aren't weapons of the world. It says, on the contrary, there are divine power to demolish what? Strongholds. To demolish strongholds. This word stronghold is the word baggage. The word baggage doesn't show up in the Bible, but this is what it is, baggage. On the contrary, they have divine power to demolish strongholds. The actual word for this, there's a Greek word for this, and I've been practicing this word all week and all night, and I was practicing this morning. I'm walking around saying this word because I want to say it right, but I'm not going to say it right probably. But it's a Greek word, and you have to say it with like some guttural, like, but it's achrurum. Achrurum. It actually looks like hoocha mama. Like that's what I want to say, like ucha mama, like I want to sing that song, but it's that's what it looks like, but it's achrurum. Achrurum. And what does that word mean? A prisoner locked by what? Deception. That's what stronghold means. Achrurum means a prisoner locked by deception. And that is what baggage is. That is what baggage is, living life by something that is not true. Living life with all this baggage is achrurum. It's a stronghold. It's living life with something that's not true. Your baggage is living your life based on a lie. Based on that you think that you're not good enough. Based upon that you think that you can't forgive someone. Based upon you think that you have too much pain. Based upon that you feel like that your expectations can never be met. You're a prisoner by deception. Achrurum, stronghold, baggage. But the verse goes on and says this, verse 5. We demolish arguments and every pretension that set itself against the knowledge of God. We demolish the arguments that we have in our heads, that we fight and say that when you get those thoughts and say that you're not this, you're not that, and you're just this, and you're just that, and what people say to you, what the world says about you, and what you think, and all the negative, we demolish those arguments, those pretensions that set itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought and make it obedient to Christ. We take every thought and say, no, it needs to be obedient to Jesus Christ because he died for me, and he died for the world, and he died for everything, and everything that's wrong, he died for. Therefore, you need to be obedient to the love of Jesus Christ. And every thought that comes in my head that says that I'm a bad this, or I'm no good at that, or how could your family this, and how could your wife that, every time I have this pain that goes on and says I can't release this pain, it's too hurtful. Everything that goes on, all this baggage is destroyed because of Jesus Christ. And you were delivered because of Jesus Christ. See, Romans 12:2 says, do not conform no longer to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by renewing of your mind. And that goes back to capturing every thought and every argument and everything that every pretentious thing that goes against the knowledge of Jesus Christ and says, no, I don't, that is what the world says. I'm going to be transformed by renewing my mind. And how I'm going to renew my mind through Ephesians 4:22 to 23 says, you were taught, just putting these verses together, you were taught to put off the old self, which is being corrupted by his deceitful desires. You were taught, all of us are taught that you should not do this, you should do this. Don't do what your old self, don't make the same mistakes that the old person would do. My captain in the fire department would say it all the time. He would say, D, it's okay to make mistakes, just don't make the same ones over and over again. Make new mistakes, put off that old stuff. Don't keep going and do that. Don't do that any longer. We've been taught that as little kids, and Paul is saying the same thing here, which was corrupting by deceitful desires, to be made new in the attitude of your mind. To be new in the attitude of your mind. And how are we going to do that? By transforming ourselves. And how are we going to transform ourselves? By capturing every thought, every argument, everything that goes on in our lives, and make it obedient to Jesus Christ. Because John 8:32 says this, when you know the what? When you know the truth. A lot of times we say this part. A lot of times we say this, right? The truth will set you free. We say this part. And we forget that this part. It's this part. To know. You can say the truth can set you free, but if you don't know the truth, it will not set you free. It will not set you free. Find people. Those who know they're found, those who know the truth, they're set free. And we try to help those to become free and understand that they aren't free because of the baggage of this world, the baggage that they claim. They weigh you down, they'll hold you down. But you have to know it. You have to understand it. And so there are 3 simple truths that I want to communicate today. 3 simple truths when it comes to baggage. And again, I want all of us to give our baggage a name. Some of us may all have the same kind of bags, but we all have different kind of bags. If you travel with your husband, if you travel with your wife, I know for me at least, she carries different kind of bags than I carry. She got a makeup bag, she got a toiletry bag, she got a bag for a hairdryer, she got a bag for everything. And I just got one bag. We have one common bag, but then there's multiple bags. We all have different baggage. Give your baggage a name. You name it. But the baggage the truth I want you to understand are 3 simple truths. And this. It's that God still loves me. Everybody say, God still loves me. God still loves me. Regardless of all the baggage that I have, God still loves me. The most famous verse in the world, John 3:16, we're going to add 17 to it. It says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whoever believes in him will not perish, but have everlasting life. For God did not send his son into the world to condemn the world, but save the world through him. That is God loving me, regardless of all my baggage. He still loves me. The message, I mentioned it again earlier, the message puts it like this, and I think it just amplifies this awesomely. It says this about John 3:16. It says, this is how much God loves the world. Church, I love you guys. I love you more than you probably think I do. I pray for you more than you think I probably pray for you. I think about you and your family and the church as a whole more than you think I think about you. But I love you so much. It says this, that God so loved the world that he gave his son, his only son. Church, even though I love you, if it took me giving up one of my sons, that's where the love kind of stops. I mean, I wouldn't expect you to give up your son, one of your children, even though you love me so much or love the church so much. I would have a problem with that. I couldn't sacrifice one of my children for the church. God loved so much that he gave his only son for the whole world. That's how much love is. And why did he do this? So that no one need to be destroyed, that no one needs to die. By believing in him, anyone can have a whole and lasting life. See, God did not go through all the trouble to send his son merely to point an accusing finger. God did not go through all this trouble to come down and say, you're not pretty. He didn't come down and say, you're overweight. You're not smart enough. You don't make enough money. You didn't go to college. You got a learning disability. He didn't come down here and say that you're just messed up. You're never going to get married. You're never going to get that promotion. He didn't come and say that, yeah, your mom did this to you. Your dad did this to you. You got a friend that hurt you. You got a husband or a wife that left you. He didn't come here to accuse you and say that you are the problem. He didn't go through all that trouble for that. What he did is come to the world to say how bad. He didn't say come to the world to tell how bad the world was. He came here to help the world, to save the world, to say, I know you're in a bad spot. I don't need to tell you that you're in a bad spot. One of the worst things I hate for someone to tell me is when you're in a bad spot. Like if I got a flat tire and somebody says, hey, bro, you got a flat tire. Thanks. I know I got a flat tire. I know things are going. Anybody a fan of somebody telling you when things are going wrong? You like, get away from me. Get out of my face. I don't need that. I don't need, especially when my children do it. Dad, you burned, Dad, I know I burnt the food. Like, don't need to tell me I burnt the dinner. Like, I got it. Like, don't need you to tell me I burnt the cookies. Like, I got it. Help me, though. Like, come help me. God came to this world not to condemn it, but to save it. That is the most beautiful thing about the gospel of Jesus Christ, and that it all says that God still loves me. That's the first truth. The second truth is this: God can free me. Everyone say, God can free me. God can free you, regardless of how much baggage you have. And you can say, Pastor, you named all that stuff, that's good, but there's one bag I just can't let go of. There's just one bag that Pastor, I've taken the bag and I've thrown it in the ocean, and I turn around and there it is again. Like there's this bag that you don't understand. I've tried. I've tried. Here's the truth. This is the truth. And it says, the knowing of the truth will set you free. God can free you. Romans 8:1-2 says, therefore, there's no condemnation of those who are in Christ, because through Jesus Christ, the law of the Spirit who gives life, has set you free from the law of sin and death. What is that all saying? Again, the Message version breaks it down so we can probably understand just a little better for some of us. It says this: you no longer live under continuous, low-lying black clouds. The new power is in operation. The Spirit of the life of Christ is like a strong wind. It's magnificently cleared the air, freeing you from the fated line of brutal tyranny at the hands of sin and death. What is it saying? Because of Jesus Christ, you can be free. It's a choice. Do you want to carry around all this baggage? Do you want to carry around that bag that you can't get rid of and you say, I've tried. Ultimately, yes, that bag can be set free. That bag can be lifted off of you, that you never have to pick it up again. God can save you. And the last one is, God will restore me. Everyone say, God will restore me. God will restore me. Psalm 71:20 says this: though you have made me see troubles. This is David again. Though you have made me see troubles. In this world, you will have trouble. You can try to avoid it, and you will see trouble. God will direct your path in a way where you will see trouble. You will see it coming. As David is saying, though you have made me see troubles. God had put David on a path, and he saw some bad, troubling, horrible stuff, many and bitter. He says, you restored my life again. From the depths of the earth, you will again bring me up. Though I walk this life and I have caused trouble on myself, and trouble has come my way, and I have all of this that's going on, God can restore me. That is the truth. Those are the truths that we need to understand. Those are the truths that will set us free. Those are the truths that we need to take to renew our mind, to transform our mind, so we can take captive every thought that comes our way, so we can live a baggage-free life, so we don't have to have hakuram in our life where it's a stronghold that has us prisoner and we're living by the lies and deceit. That is not the baggage God has for you. He wants you to be free. No baggage. I'm free. Jesus walked around with no bags. The only bag he carried was a bag of love. The only bag he carried was a bag of saving us from ourselves. God will take your baggage. Know that he loves you. Know that he can free you and he wants to restore you. Let us pray. God, I thank you for this time, and I thank you for this message in this series, God, and how we're going to dive into more specific things when it comes to things that we carry around, probably more like emotional baggage, Lord, or just other different things, God. And this is a time that we are to give to you. That we say, God, I truly, I earnestly don't want this anymore. God, help me. God, is not about, for some, it's truly not about, we don't rage war against how the world rages war. We need to start where the spiritual battle. We need to start with you. Start with you in prayer. Start with you meeting you. You are the ultimate thing that can change the spiritual warfare that's going on in our lives and around us, God. Yeah, we might have some physical baggage. We may have some physical things of financial baggage and job baggage and things that are just physical, God, but it all starts with raging war against it in the spiritual and praying and saying, God, meet me here. Take this. Lead me, guide us. I don't want this. I put this at the foot of the cross. It's not about what I can take, not about what book I can read, not about what I can drink, what I can eat, what I can meditate. If it doesn't start with you, we are losing the war. God, show us in this time how to release this to you, God. And I ultimately want to thank you for the baggage of sin that we have, that you have taken. That over 2,000 years ago, you died on a cross saying, I've defeated death. The bag that you ultimately could not get rid of, I've taken care of. God, we thank you for that. And God, for some of us in this room who have not given our lives to you, who have not saying, I will actually make you Lord of my life. Not just this baggage idea and this thing, but I actually want to make you God of my life. God, I ask that you would move, that you would do that. You will make us true disciples of you, followers of Jesus Christ, fully devoted followers of you because of what you did on the cross. So God, during this time, as we sing this song and partake in communion, that we acknowledge what you did for us. And we renew our covenant with you as we take, eat, and drink of your body that's broken for us, that we do this in remembrance of you. There's all these things in Jesus' name.